Can a ghost write poetry? You betcha, says Baron Maurice de Waleffe, the French satirist, who tells of a remarkable book of spirits' poems just published in Paris under the title of The Glory of Illusion. 3 years ago died Judith Gautier, niece of Théophile Gautier, and left a collection of slightly passionate novels and collections of poems which were circulated among friends. One of these friends was a girl, Judith's most intimate companion. A year after Judith's death, this girl dreamed a dream. In the dream, Judith appeared and commanded her to seize a pencil and write to dictation. The result was a series of poems of an erotic character, which are triumphs of meter and scan perfectly. They are published in the name of the girlfriend, Mel S. Meyer Zundel, but Mel Zundel says they're not really her works at all, but were directly dictated by her dead friend. Previous to Judith's death, Mel Zundel says she never wrote a line of poetry. Here we have direct proof of an invisible intelligence directing this young lady to write poems which she admits she never wrote before her friend's death. The materialistic skeptic, who is always ready to interpret dreams as coincidences, cannot call this a coincidence before the testimony of such facts when they are brought to the eyes of an intelligent public. The would-be interpreter of human existence remains baffled and silent. They can neither deny these facts, nor do they dare to explain them. Friday, May 6, 1921, Chicago Daily News, by Marion Holmes. Dear Marion Holmes, I should like, just out of curiosity, to get the opinion of some of your corner readers, as well as your own, on the enclosed sketch of a dream I had when working out west. About 26 years ago I was working in the West, near the mining country, and one night I dreamed I was in a mining town, the name of which I did not know in my dream, nor had I ever seen it in reality. I was crossing the street to a store building painted white, and in my hand I carried an envelope that I was to deliver to the boss of the store. When I arrived at the center of the street, I was met by 3 men who were coming from the opposite side, one of whom stopped me, saying, "Come with me, and I will show you where there is a gold mine." I replied, "I haven't time to go now," but he insisted, "Well, come anyway, and when you have time you can go and get it." So I went. We started off in the direction of what I have since learned is the richest locality in gold mines, and after walking a while we seemed to float through space. Then we came to the ground a few feet from the top of the mountain. We walked up to the top and again floated in the air in a semicircle, landing at the foot of another mountain a few miles to the west. The stranger said, "I want you to note the peculiar formation of this country and this stream, and right here, walking a short distance, is where you will find the gold." About 3 months later I decided to return to Chicago, and in the train I met a cigar salesman who, as soon as we became friendly, insisted that I should locate in one of the towns on his route and gave me a letter to a certain friend of his in the mining district. When the friend had read the letter, he wrote another to a friend of his own, on whom I was to call. As I went down the street, I carried the letter in my hand, and as I crossed the street I stopped short, for the store I sought was the store of my dream. 3 years ago, at a summer resort, where a company of us were telling strange dreams, I remarked that the weak part of my dream was that one of my guides was supposed to be a dead relative of my own, and my mother remarked at once, "I had an uncle, a prospector, who died out west in the mining country, but nobody ever knew just where." Chicago. Curious. Marion Holmes's answer. Dr. Peterson, the New York neurologist, in a recent magazine article on dreams and their meaning, points out that many dreams thought to be prophetic can be accounted for physiologically, and avers that there was never a purely prophetic dream. He would contend, no doubt, that your waking thoughts having been a good deal engaged with Western life, your dream carried the same train of thought straight through. He would probably characterize the incidents of the rich mines, the store, and the relative as merely coincidental, yet as the writer of a textbook on mental philosophy observes, to call such dreams coincidences leaves the mystery as great as before. It is evident curious is not as curious as what he signs himself. If he had investigated his dream, he may have found it to his advantage. Warden dreams of jail delivery, foils attempt. Chicago American, February 24, 1921. New Orleans, February 24. Because Captain H.J. Ruffier, warden of the House of Detention, deemed there was a jail delivery on, a general effort to escape from the prison was frustrated. 40 prisoners confined in one big room on the 2-lane avenue at the side of the building were detected working at the bars of a window and picking at the brickworks under another window when discovered. This dream may be attributed to mental telepathy. The prisoners evidently had been planning their escape for days, creating thought forms. It was possible for the warden in sleep, out of body, to be mentally impressed of the delivery and bring it through into waking consciousness. Dreaming to some purpose. Chicago Daily News, February 24, 1921. Huntington, West Virginia. Mrs. Mattias Stepp was told in a dream to write songs. She did so, and 2 of them were accepted and published in New York. Paints picture in dream, ghost guides her brush. Chicago Evening American, June 8, 1921. Peoria is all excited today over the announcement by Benjamin H. Serkowich of the Peoria Art League that a canvas painted by a woman in her dream with the hand of the immortal and long since departed Whistler guiding her brush is on display at a local theater mezzanine floor, which gave space to the annual exhibit of the League. Mrs. William Hawley Smith, wife of W. H. Smith of Peoria, is the woman. She and her husband are among the wealthiest and most socially prominent families in Peoria. Dr. William Hawley Smith is well known as a student and writer on sociological problems. Both he and Mrs. Smith claim to have frequently received spirit messages from the dead. Several weeks ago, Mrs. Smith said she was sleeping soundly when Whistler appeared in a dream. The famous artist commanded her to don her artist's smock and get her brushes, paints, and palette. Then she translated to canvas the instructions he imparted, and frequently his hand guided her brush. She worked feverishly all night, and in the morning awoke fatigued, but the picture was finished. Chicago Tribune, Saturday, March 12, 1921. Dreams being led to a hiding place of missing girls. Mother's vision of her daughter comes true. Girl of my dreams. Sounds like the title of a new song, doesn't it? The girl is Evelyn Niedziezko, 17 years old. She lives at 3939 South Campbell Avenue. Last Wednesday night she disappeared from home. That night and on Thursday night her mother dreamed of her. In both dreams she saw her daughter enter a flat building. It seems to her in her dreams it was on Cottage Grove Avenue near 27th Street. Last night, Mrs. Niedziezko reported the girl's disappearance to the police. Lieutenant Ben Burns, to whom the mother talked, asked her if she had any idea as to where the girl might be staying. She told her dreams. Told to go through with it. Do you think it would be any use to go over to Cottage Grove Avenue and look around? She asked. I haven't much faith in dreams myself, and I guess the police would think I was crazy if I asked them to make a search on the strength of a dream. Lieutenant Burns believes in dreams and hunches and such things, and he advised Mrs. Niedziezko to go through with it. Mrs. Niedziezko went over to Cottage Grove Avenue and walked around until she saw a flat building that looked just like the picture that had come to her that night in her vision. She had seen her girl sitting in a dining room of such a flat. The house proved to be 2727, mystic numbers. The family of William Llewellyn lives there. Get police to help find girls. Mrs. Niedziezko went to the Cottage Grove Avenue police station and asked for help to search the flat for her girl. She did not say anything about her dream for fear they would laugh at her. Detectives Pierroth and Fitzgerald accompanied her to the building. In answer to the ring, Evelyn herself came to the door. Evelyn had been visiting a friend. The mother had, no doubt, been thinking daily of her daughter's disappearance, and unconsciously impressed the idea on the ego, and as the ego carries out the impressions of our waking state, she actually brought the knowledge of her astral experience into the waking consciousness, and the intense desire on the mother's part was the direct cause of her bringing the same experience through 2 successive nights, showing the ego can impress on the mind important information. The ego is also the source of premonitory dreams. Has premonition, drops dead in Hotel LaSalle.